I hope I'm going to like smile more in this video because it makes sense to be a little bit more joyful here. But this is the fourth point, and I want to talk about the unspoken characteristics of the first ground for bodhisattvas. There are 10 grounds, um, and the first ground is known as the ground of joyfulness. And uh, yeah, so basically, you know, bodhisattvas, they live among the people. So actually, it is my belief that bodhisattvas lead householder or lay people or the lives of lay people. Basically, they will marry, they will, find a husband or wife, or I guess at an earlier stage, a boyfriend or girlfriend. And that's part of the reason why I think it's called the ground of joyfulness, because, uh, you know, being able to, realizing that you can have a partner, a spouse, or a boy or a girlfriend, and realizing that that's not a hindrance to attaining enlightenment, but first of all, it induces other people to seek enlightenment to a greater degree, and it actually furthers your progress compared to not being in like such relationships. I think this um, can bring a lot of happiness in a way because you feel like you're not alone. You feel like, there's someone there to support you, and then you're, of course, there to support them. And actually, simultaneously, uh, you should be amicable and congenial to all. I think this is also a characteristic of the first ground. So basically, you are you have like your own family or you have your boyfriend or girlfriend, and simultaneously you treat everyone else well as well. So there's not a single person that you have any enmity or is that how you say it? I think okay, there's not a single person whom you feel enmity or animosity towards. um and actually this is a little bit hard to imagine. How can you, have a girlfriend and then make them, or a boyfriend, and make them feel, free and happy and completely satisfied? Of course, they have to do their own work for themselves. Like, it can't just be you doing everything for them. It's impossible for them to be happy in that way. So this is very important to know, of course, that, whoever is your partner, they should know, and they probably ideally know even before, getting together with you, right? They know that they're also partially, if not mostly, then at least partially also certainly responsible for their own happiness. And even though, you can aid that, if they're constantly depending on you or you're constantly depending on them, that is a complete impossibility. Um, and yeah, wait, what was it? Yeah, so can you imagine like a boyfriend or girlfriend that you have, and then at the same time, let's say you're a girl, and then you have a boyfriend, um, and of course that boyfriend is really happy to be with you, but at the same time, you can treat all other guys well, and not just all other guys, but basically all beings well, even pets or sorry, not pets, animals or non-human beings. Now you might be like, how can you treat all guys well and at the same time, your boyfriend is happy? Um, well, it's possible, and that's part of the reason why it's called the ground of joyfulness. Because, uh, well, let's just say the Buddha wisdom is subtle and wonderful. So it's called ground because you're well established, uh, you know, in a certain way. You're in a you're orientated in a certain way with regards to life, and in a way you can say that the first ground is when you thoroughly enter the Buddha's wisdom, and when you enter a certain kind of perfection. um, and so yes, these things where you treat, you know, your boyfriend, very well, and then you can also treat all other guys well, but of course in a different way. And then at the same time, you can treat everyone. I mean, just everyone in general well, and even non-human beings. This These are all, I believe, unspoken or hidden characteristics of the first ground bodhisattva. Um, if you go to Nagarjuna's treatises or if you read the Ten Ground Sutra, these things are not explicitly stated, but this is my opinion. Um, and I firmly, I firmly believe in what I'm saying. Uh, and part of the reason, okay, maybe I shouldn't say this. I'm not going to mention, but yeah, like for example, you know, I look back and I don't see a single thing that has made me as happy as liking someone, And after learning Buddhism about suffering, compassion, uh, all these things, I still feel the same. When I look back, it doesn't. I still don't. Cannot even imagine that there's anything that can bring, you know, at least initially. Eventually, like the idea is to love everyone equally. So, but at least initially, I don't see anything that like sort of could bring anything or anyone that could bring as much happiness as a partner or you know so even right now, like I think I sort of like someone, and I mean hopefully she likes me too, but I yeah, I just don't get that joy energy from anything else right now in life. I mean, even if you have hobbies, you like playing video games, you like playing football or basketball, you know it's just not the same. So um I mean, of course, how you treat that person is extremely important, and how you treat the relationship, how you view the relationship, how you view life as a whole. This is extremely important. And as a Buddhist, as a, bodhisattva, of course, we should have learned things to the point that we can do the same things as other people, but we do them in such a pure and flawless manner, um, that even if we have relationships, we don't suffer in those relationships. When, people who don't know about these Buddhist teachings, they may suffer, but we don't suffer in the same ways. Or even if sufferings arise, we can very quickly overcome them, or, or sometimes we understand that sufferings are inevitable. And so we are um, better able to, how do you say this? Uh, to come to a certain to come to an acceptance of the inevitable suffering that is, you know, that will arise. Yeah. And other characteristics of the first ground bodhisattva. Uh, oh, yeah, one more thing. Of course, if you're going to find, a partner, you have to view them as high as you regard them, they have to regard you completely equally, right? And so you have to be completely faithful 100%. You know, you have to be super reliable towards them, and they have to be, of course, the same towards you. Otherwise, it couldn't be called the first ground. So, yeah, this is what I think means, are some of the hidden characteristics of, yeah. And additionally, this video is getting a little long, sorry. Um, food. Food generally tastes good. Whatever you eat, generally food will taste good. And I think if you're at the first ground level, probably you won't be eating meat, or seafood, or ideally you shouldn't be anyway, because that's not what a bodhisattva should do. But anyways, yeah, food generally tastes good, whatever you eat, or at least compared to the past, because of your joy. You'll be mostly joyous and pleased when you reach the first ground. Of course, you will be full of compassion simultaneously, but whenever you see suffering, you will work to, actively reach out to that person who is suffering and try to convert that into happiness, or at least, lessen their suffering. Um, but yeah, uh, food, music, all of it is like better than before. This is for certain, 100%. Um, because I experienced something like that in the past, and yeah, I know is the case. So I guess then it's up to others to believe. But yeah, um, okay. Yeah, and also like when you look at people, generally, I think on the first ground you'll feel a great joy. Like you feel happy that you're being like witnessed by another being, and you also feel really happy that you can see that person. Um, or in various circumstances, you may feel compassion or equanimity or loving kindness, or you may exercise these uh, aspects of true love simultaneously, of course. Um, and this is because the Brahma Viharas are called Brahma abodes for a reason. Uh, I haven't been able to experience or exercise this fully at all yet, but apparently, not well, apparently, but I also fully believe in it. They're called Brahma abodes because we are supposed to abide in them constantly. So we have to constantly exercise these aspects of love, the Brahma Viharas, in relation to other people constantly. And this is a supreme form of bodhisattva practice, and it purifies the mind and body of us beings. So yeah, but I think on the first ground, generally, if like the people around you aren't suffering, you'll just be extremely happy to see, you know, to see everyone, even like strangers, of course.